the final wild.
Well, hello there. My name is Jeff. Thanks for joining me today. I'm out at Illinois State Beach Park in Zion, Illinois, and I thought I would tell you a little story that'll show what kind of an idiot I am and hopefully provide a lesson to other young drone flyers out there, because this was a totally stupid mistake I made, and I almost lost my little buddy here, my drone. Now, my wife, she works nights on the weekends, and she gets home in the morning, sometimes closer to noon. And it just happened one Sunday. That's what happened. She got home around noon, said, I'm going to bed for a while, take a nap. I'm like, great. So while she was sleeping, I thought, well, I'm going to go out and take my drone somewhere and see if I can catch any good footage. So I went out to this park, this local forest preserve, and I'm walking through and I see this field. Here's a shot of the field here. This field had tall weeds, but flowers and stuff. And I thought, okay, it might be nice just to fly over that field and just maybe do a 360 and come back. Get the colors, the greens, the yellows, the purples. Sounding great. So quickly, I grabbed my drone, got it set up, took the cap off, slapped a battery in there, started to fly. I was maybe 15 feet high going across this field. It was still in my vision. I could hear it. Suddenly, I get a strange message saying, reached maximum height. And I'm like, that's odd. I'm only like 15 feet high. Don't see any planes. I'm not by an airport, so I don't know what that was about. But like 2 seconds later, I get another message saying lost contact. Now, of course, when the message came up, I looked down at my remote and was trying to figure it out. Looked up, my drone's nowhere to be found. I can't hear it, can't see it. I don't know if it just kept going, if it dropped, what happened. It was gone. It was gone. Now, this field had tall weeds, and it had rained earlier that day, but I panicked. And after waiting about 3 or 4 minutes to see if it was going to come back, I realized it wasn't. Climbed into this field. I'm going through these weeds and it's wet and I'm getting dirty and there's bugs and it's disgusting. I'm out there for a good hour tramping through this field looking. Can't find it anywhere. And it was a big field. I go home really bummed out, depressed. I lost my buddy. My wife had just woken up and I explained the story to her and she's like, why don't we both go out? 2 of us in this field, maybe we'll find it. So I said, great. Now, I apologize to people who run the local forest preserves in Lake County, because I know you're not supposed to actually be walking around in those fields. You're not supposed to go off the path, but this was my drone. I have to. We did the same thing. Now, when we were out there, I realized on the way that I could use my phone to find its last known location, the location where I lost signal, right? So I went to that spot, and I told my wife, this is where the last signal came, right around this area. And we looked. And again, we were out there over an hour. My wife's got 1 million mosquito bites. I'm miserable. And then it starts to rain. And we give up. I go home. This is a Sunday. I'm depressed. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I lost my buddy, my drone. And I'm already starting to think in my head, is there someplace I can buy a replacement drone? I mean, I got a selection of batteries. I got a controller. I got this nice case, everything. What do I do, right? So a week goes by. And it was the following weekend I had this thought in my head. I said, what if I go back out there and I go to the place where the last known signal happened and I use an app called Map My Walk, which shows you where you've moved around. It shows you the path you've taken. I thought I could systematically comb the field and use that. So I go out there. This is about 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And there was a mistake here too. I figured 7 o'clock in the morning this place would be empty, but it wasn't. It was packed with people, joggers, bikers, so I had to wait till there was a clearing to jump into these weeds so no one would see me leaving the path. And I go out there and I discover Map My Walk, since the last time I used it, has changed. Now you need to register and you have an account, and I'm out there and the sun's already beating down on me. It's like already 80 degrees and I'm hot, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to register right now. If anything, I'll go home, do it later, and then come back out, right? So I go, I'll do what I did before. I'll just wander around trying to find it. Still no luck. Then I thought, well, I'm out here. Maybe I can use Google Maps and do the same thing. It won't show me where I've been, but at least I can get some systematic thing. So I go to the spot again where it was the last signal came from. Now, this has been a week, and it had rained all week. I look down at my phone to start getting Google Maps set up, and as I look down on my phone, right at my foot, my drone's sitting there, about a foot from my foot. It's just sitting there. I'm like, and I swear I was at that spot before, because I went to that spot because I can't believe it, but I'm thrilled. I grab my drone, I run home, let it sit for a while, go out in the backyard. It flew like a champ. It worked perfect. It still works today. I'm thrilled, even though it sat out in a week. This little guy, this little DGI Mini 2 was great. It's still flying today. I still enjoy it. It's like fantastic. Now, here's stupidity on my part, and I hope everybody learns a lesson from my stupidity, or maybe no one else is as stupid as me. But when I put the battery in my drone, because I was in a hurry, because this wasn't an area I was originally expecting to shoot, I just pushed the battery in there, closed it. It wasn't clipped in. The battery wasn't clipped in, because when I found it, the battery was sticking out like this. It was laying on the ground with the battery sticking out, like sort of like that. Okay, lesson learned. Don't be in a rush. Follow the instructions. Make sure everything's right. Make sure the battery's in there tight. Do everything you're supposed to do, and don't be stupid like me, because I'm an idiot, and I admit it. But now I've flown really high over lakes, over grass fields. If this was going to happen to an idiot like me, this was best case scenario, right? I could have been flying 400 feet over a lake and it dropped and I would have never seen it again. So I lucked out. Thanks for watching. How about a little more footage before I get out of here?